Welcome back to the program. We've been seeing these videos popping up all over social media of FBI agents knocking on people's doors to discuss with them their social media posts. And it doesn't even seem like something the FBI is denying. Headline Washington Times, agent says FBI interrogates Americans about social media posts every day, all day long. Quote, FBI agents recently told an Oklahoma woman confronted at her door that the Bureau sends agents to question Americans about their social media posts all day long in an effort to keep everybody safe. Stillwater resident Rola, I'm going to try to say this right, Abdeljawad, took a video of her conversation later posted on X by her attorney Hassan Shilby with the agents who arrived at her home last week. The FBI defended its actions in a statement to the Washington Times, saying, every day the FBI engages with members of the public in furtherance of our mission, which is to protect the American people and uphold the Constitution of the United States. We can never open an investigation based solely on First Amendment protected activity. My next guest is a national security expert, and he is the host of Crossroads at Epoch Times. Josh Phillip, how you doing, sir?
Doing well. How about yourself? Yeah, wild times. Huh?
They say they're protecting people and they're upholding the First Amendment. Why would an FBI agent, and they seem to almost have the demeanor of like, you know, the person that reads your meter or is delivering a package, right? They're wearing khaki pants and jogging sneakers, and they're carrying a clipboard, as if that's not some form of intimidation. When they say, we just want to talk to you about what you're posting, that is clearly a form of intimidation.
Well, just upholding the Constitution, right? I've never thought of the Constitution like that before. But, you know, I think what this is showing is a more concerning trend, because under the Constitution, if they want to say, hey, upholding the Constitution protects us from unlawful searches and seizures. And if they're searching through our social media posts all day, every day, you know, I think the question we're running into as a society right now is, to what extent is that an unlawful or unjustified search and seizure if they can monitor our conversations at every moment? And I think this is the unfortunate big doorway that's been opened up with the fact that, you know, again, the internet's public record, and we're starting to understand that everything we say and do online is legal record because of that, viewable not just by government and police, but even by intelligence agencies.
Yeah, okay, let's just make a giveaway here. Let's say you're saying it in public, you know, hey, it's not prying eyes. The FBI has the right to be on Facebook or X or Instagram or whatever it is. But when they come knocking on your door to have a conversation, isn't that the beginning of an investigation if they're trying to gather information from you?
And that's another layer of the concern. So with the woman in particular, the one that this case is kind of hinged around, I did look into her posts because they're public, and she's a pro-Palestinian protester. She actually did have a post calling for physical jihad and for people to join the armies of Muslim countries. So, you know, maybe she's, you think what you want about that. But I think the bigger part that came out from that was, the fact that agents are saying that this is something they're doing every single day, all day long. And we've seen other cases like this, is what the bigger picture is. Because this is a trend we've been watching, where even, you know, J6ers, people like that, their friends, their family members, they're being questioned. People, for example, who questioned the elections in 2020, that is now being used against them, things they posted online. That's being hung over their heads in court right now. And so, we are seeing that there is, frankly, what I would call a deeming of certain speech as being illegal. And you're no longer allowed to state your opinion on politically sensitive issues. Do you believe the 2020 elections had problems? What is your stance on January 6th? We can't have real discussions on these things. And we're finding that if you post the wrong thing online, then yes, absolutely. Federal authorities can monitor you. They can visit you at your home. They can even, if you end up getting charged with something, use that as evidence against your character. I think we're just finally starting to recognize this as a problem for this country.
Look, I defend free speech. Okay, what Mrs. Abdel-Jawad was posting is of no concern to me. I believe in the First Amendment. I don't have to agree with what she's saying, but I'll defend her right to say it, as I will defend anyone's right to say it. At the same time, doesn't the FBI have better stuff to do? I mean, are they bored that they're sitting there just scrolling? Probably have some aggregator, probably have some algorithm that picks on certain words and then alerts them to the post, and then off they go. I would think the FBI would have way more important stuff to do.
Well, that's a whole other issue. I think that's a big issue, because what we're starting to see is that they're starting to employ artificial intelligence, because, and as you mentioned, it's keywords and such like that. This is the bigger picture coming about, is that there's a type of collaboration between the federal government and private businesses. And so Facebook, Twitter, these other companies that make their entire business around scooping up people's private information and so on, we've been finding a lot of these companies are actually selling this data to intelligence agencies. They're selling this data to police. And so while the government can't legally monitor a lot of the deeper data with this, and don't even have the capabilities of monitoring that much data, because of AI, because of the fact that when we join these sites and so on, that we sign agreements, the terms of service agreements, to give them access to it, that the government has a type of collaborative relationship with these organizations that are granting them access to our private communications, to our emails, to our geolocations, to things that we may be saying with a friend or family member, maybe even just joking, but taken out of context can actually look like something criminal. And people are being approached about it. They are facing criminal charges on it. And again, in some cases, it's even being used against them in other contexts.
Yeah, it's the government doing this, right? It's the government saying, we see you, so watch what you say. And the out of context, I'm going to run out of time here. I love to reference the famous scene from the movie My Cousin Vinny when he says, questioningly, I shot the clerk, I shot the clerk. And then in court, the deputy reads back, he said, I shot the clerk, I shot the clerk. No context. That's part of the problem. Well, maybe we need a vinyl movement. How some people are getting sick of streaming, they're going back to vinyl. Maybe if people feel that their rights are being violated on social media, they'll find a new way to communicate. I got to leave it there. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, real pleasure. Thank you.
All right. Dr. Shay Bradley returns to the program right after this.